Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a great day. We have got something really exciting for you today. I'm Gina Salazar, your host here at CSN, and I'm with Mike, of course. Now, Mike, this is something so historical and really a neat collector's item for people.
Yeah, it's something, and it's a really interesting coin on a lot of levels. First off, it's just, and we talk about this all the time, coins tell a story.
Right.
You know, coins mark times in history, places in history, events in history. That's kind of what coins do, because since the very beginning of coinage, kings and stuff, they put their names on it. It's like family portraits for the royalty, and so it's easy to mark places in time. This is a fascinating coin on a lot of levels, because first thing I want to say is, this coin is 100% authentic. It's been graded by NGC, their ancient division.
Wow.
So this coin is 100% authentic. And I know that can be really, really, really hard for people to get their head around.
Yeah.
Kind of wrap their head around this, because these coins are all over 2,000 years old.
Oh my gosh.
These are all over 2,000. So these coins were made between 135 BC and 37 BC. So these coins were made for about 100 years.
Wow.
This particular type, there's like 2 or 3 different types of widow's mites depending on where they were made.
Okay.
Bronze coins, the smallest circulating coinage of the time. And so they were made in mass quantities. They're all individually made by hand. They'd put a little piece of bronze down there and put a die on it. Another guy had hit a hammer onto the die and then make the coin, turn it over, and do the same thing.
Oh my gosh.
And so that's why they're all a little different. They kind of have fragmented edges and all. So this was a penny. It was actually probably even less than a penny back 2,000 years ago. But the historical significance of this particular coin, also known as a pruta, is the technical term for the denomination of this coin, is actually a very specific coin, in so that it is mentioned in the Bible multiple times. Mentioned in the Bible specifically multiple times, this widow's mite. And it would have been this coin. It would have been this denomination, it would have been this coin, it would have been what it is. And it's mentioned in both Luke and Mark in the Bible and the Gospels. And then, of course, it is also mentioned throughout the rest of the Bible as well. I think it's mentioned also in Corinthians and several of the other chapters out there. And so this is 100% original. As you can see, individually made by hand. Now, the design on these, if you look, are basically the same on each one. So they use the same die for 100 years. For those of you that are interested, and they're hard to get, because most of the widow's mites that are out there are counterfeit, because they're easy to counterfeit. It's not.
Because you can make it by hand.
You can just make them by hand. So they're very, very easy to get, and they've been counterfeited for long periods of time.
That's a shame.
That's why they have to be certified. They have to be guaranteed by a trained ancient numismatist, and that's what we have here. And so we've got an actual, and there's the chapter and verse. There's Mark 12, 41 through 44, and Luke 21, 1 through 4, that you have with that. And it is called the parable of the widow's mite, hence in the Gospels. And if we look right here, here it is in kind of the new version that you have right there. If we can get in close, you can look at that. It said, and there came a poor widow, and she put in 2 mites, hence the widow's mite that you see right there. And he said to them, and he being Jesus, okay, who was in the temple watching this, he says, amen, this poor widow has put more than all those who have put in the treasury. They have put in out of their abundance, but she out of her want, as she has put in all she had to live on. Wow. Now that's in Mark, where he's actually in the temple and watching. In Luke, he's actually not in the temple. It's a slightly different rendition of the story between Mark and Luke, but it's mentioned twice, and it says right here, the smallest coin used during the life of Jesus was the pruta. And it was minted in, like I said, in these dates from 140 to 40 BC. They're high-grade examples, which these are. Most of them are just look like a piece of bronze.
Right.
There's no, so this is considered a very high grade example, absolutely 100% certified. And here's the amazing part. So you have this thing that is contemporaneous to Jesus, okay? And it's $79.95.
That is unbelievable.
Right.
What a bargain, because such a unique piece of history, and the time it must have taken and the effort to make each and every one of these by hand is astonishing.
And I guess the big thing is the reason is they occasionally find hordes of these, kind of all over Europe and the Middle East.
Like
they kind of find these, bags of them, because they were, because they were very, very low denomination at the time. And it's interesting when they find a horde of these, it's usually a big clump. And of course, all the ones on the outside are just all corroded together and worthless. So they break it open and all the good coins are on the inside.
Oh, that's cool.
Is the way they do the treasure on these. And so then when they find some of these, depending on where they find them, all the European countries and throughout the Middle East, they have Antiquities Act, so they have to be approved through that. Then they have to be certified. Then they have to be put out. And by the time you put all that together, I still find it absolutely positively amazing that we can sell certified NGC authentic widow's mites over 2,000. Remember, these are not reprinted or restruck.
Right.
These are 100% authentic from 135 BC to 37 BC. $79.95. $79.95. I think it's a perfect holiday gift. It's a perfect remembrance gift. It's, all of those types of gifts that you can give. I actually gave one to my daughter on her communion, so I mean, it could be a gift in many different respects with this. Not to mention just something to have yourself.
Yeah.
As I told you before this, my wife has got a widow's mite necklace, done in a gold cross.
Neat.
Yeah, I mean, and it's her one piece of jewelry. I mean, she always gets comments on it. So it's with that. So to be able to have this incredible, phenomenal piece of history, and you have to assume, that it would be $200 or $500 or $1,000 or $1,500. But $79.95, I think, is truly an amazing opportunity out there for you to be able to get this. So you look particularly in high grade like this. And I often say this. I said, look, you can read about history, in a book, or you can watch history in a movie. You can go visit history in a museum. Well, the cost for admission to a museum, you can actually literally own a piece of history. You can hold it in your hands. It's not reading about it or watching it or just viewing it. You can literally own that piece of history in your hands. And I think that's what this is, this incredible piece of history that's contemporaneous, that's authentic, that's, like I said, over 2,000 years old, and important enough to be mentioned a minimum of twice in the Bible and the Gospels. And again, several times throughout the Bible, you hear the mite mentioned as a unit of currency.
And let's talk a little bit about the presentation here, because this is in a beautiful box. It's got the story. It's a substantial gift.
Yeah. Isn't that fantastic? Gives you the story card that tells you all about it, the fact that it's certified, and it tells you everything about that. NGC, like I said, the ancient specialists at NGC have guaranteed that this is authentic as well, which is really, really, really important for widow's mites. I would estimate that of the uncertified versions, probably 90% are counterfeit, maybe a little bit more, because they're quite easy to make. In all honesty, you just get a little piece of bronze and kind of make up a little die, and bam, you can make those. So to have authentic, and they know that because they know all the dye types, they know all those things. So they have special little tricks to know that they're authentic, and that's kind of one of the things to it. So to have it in that certified holder so that you have that guarantee, I think is really important.
Yeah, and I think the patina on this definitely is what's also going to make it unique. Just the time and what time is done to the coin. It's a little coin.
Yeah, well, like I said, it was the smallest circulating coin of the time, hence the mite, hence the parable. The widow, this is all she had was 2 mites, and she threw them into the treasury. And so, and that's what Jesus was really talking about. So the famous parable of the widow's mite, this is actually one of those widow's mites. Now, we only sell them one time per year because they're very difficult to get. We've finally accumulated enough to do a presentation just in time for the holiday season. Remember, they are limited. The price is fantastic. Pick up the phone, get yours today.